business with you. They break open your house one time, they rape your mother, they rape your father, they rape your brother, they rape your sister, they rape your auntie, they rape your auntie, they rob you of all your jewels, they take your car if you have a license firearm, they take your firearm, and they go on with that. And those that are supposed to vote for this bill, for the next year, you all are pleased and it's okay with that. What are they smoking? You cannot come and tell Saieed, well, hear this now. Saieed, mass mandatory, here we go. It come to an end. And then you come and tell me, here we go on side. If you go to the supermarket, the grocery, or the malls, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you go to a pharmacy, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you're traveling, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the transportation hub, you have to wear your mask. If you go to the church side, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the school side, you're wearing your mask. If you go to a barber salon, you go to the theater, you're wearing your mask. Which dum-dum in Trinidad and Tobago will go in a theater and buy a popcorn and a juice and sit down and wear a mask? Tell us! If every councillor go through their constituency, do video clips like this and send it for us, I'm gonna be so happy just to play it on our program on a Wednesday night. You know why I would be happy? I will be filled with joy in my heart. You know why? Because the councillor is getting off their butts and they are actually going and doing some live video shoots. Real Talk took the initiative to find out suppliers of wheat in the world that National Flour Mill could go to. So now Romano is saying the company is not going to raise any price in the near future. Why? Why? Is it because the S-boss and they realize now that, hey, it is in the public domain that we could go right Mexico and buy flour and wheat? We could go right China and buy wheat? I am about change, and thus far, Real Talk is very effective in Trinidad and Tobago, coming towards making changes for the citizens. Public Utility Minister Marvin Gonzalez have urged the population to appreciate and be grateful for the availability of the utilities. This, as Gonzalez recalled, time in his life when he had to fetch water using a bucket from a nearby river. Gonzalez, I want you to understand something. I want you, Mr. Gonzalez, to understand something. You are being paid thousands of dollars by public utility, by the finance ministry, to govern WASA. Come on. To govern WASA, I want you to understand that you ain't going in no office for no free code. You are being paid. Do not tell me that I, Saieed, have to be grateful for the water I get it. Let me tell you something, Gonzalez. Every 4 months, I have to pay $400 and I get water once a bloody month. So don't come on a media briefing and say, Saieed, you have to be contented, you have to be happy. Marvin, the next best thing for you to do is to resign and get the hell out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host for tonight, viewers, and every other night on Synergy Television from Monday to Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. Remember that. Remember that. Real Talk with Saieed Ali is the #1 current affairs program in Trinidad and Tobago presently. I'm so proud of that. So while I am proud of being the #1 current affairs program in Trinidad and Tobago, our Prime Minister, Dr. Saieed Ali, has advised President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Her Excellency Christine Kangaloo, to appoint Monday, August the 14th, 2023, as a date for the holding of the local government election. Nomination day will be held on Monday, June 26, 2023. So Trinidad and Tobago, a date has been set for the local government election. Those of you on both sides, alderman councillors, that will be something in Trinidad and Tobago. Imagine that. So it has been set Monday, August 14th. All the talk, they talk, this and that and the next and the other. They didn't have a choice. They didn't have a choice. Prime Minister Dr. Saieed Ali has accused the opposition of lies and personal attack, but has urged voters to examine or keep track record of political parties. He stated that the PNM has no difficulty in standing next to their record because that record is good. Listen to this.
If you want to get a good outcome from management of a country, you have to find out the pedigree of the political party that offers itself. What is your track record? And you could have the record of the angel Gabriel. There will be people who will say not good enough. But by and large, the average citizen will know and be able to differentiate between what is good, what is better, what is best, and what is outright bad. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where we are in Trinidad and Tobago. And we, in the PNM, we have no difficulty in standing next to our record because our record is good. It's good.
So Trinidad and Tobago, I am Saieed Ali. You are viewing Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Presently, we are live on Synergy Network. There's a rerun of this program tomorrow from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Remember that, viewers. In case you miss the live program on a Monday, on a weeknight, you could check it the next day on Synergy Network. Remember, we are also on YouTube, TT Real Talk. We are also on Facebook, Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Remember, viewers, remember Trinidad and Tobago. Remember to share our live stream. Share our live stream. It will help us to meet a vast amount of people, Facebook users, on a daily basis. They will know what is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. Remember, viewers, Real Talk is also offering you 4% on fixed deposit. Remember that. Remember that. Remember that. Nowhere in Trinidad and Tobago you will go and get 4% on a fixed deposit. We are a leader among others. Remember that. I come to lead. I didn't come to follow, you know. I come to lead. And thus far we have been leading in the financial world. Concerning fixed deposits. Remember, if you're looking for cash, borrow, it's not a problem. I'm a licensed money lender also. If you have some sort of collateral for we to hold, house, land, car, gold, is not a problem. You can get finance, borrow. I'm also the managing director of Realtor Group of Company, viewers. A wide range of different companies. Security, real estate, Prime Minister Dr. Saieed Ali has accused the opposition of lies and personal attacks. He's telling you to keep records of political party. So tonight, as you sit and look at Real Talk, for the last 7 years, you make your judgment. Prior to that, the UNC was in power. For 5 years, you make your judgment based on track records. What did the UNC do in 5 years? What did the present administration did for the last 7 or 8 years? You be the judge of that. Now, the PM added that former MP or the former PM, the late Dr. Eric Williams, had faced outrage led by a few people when introducing income tax to fund schools, public housing and education, thereby changing the quality of life in TNT. Today, income tax raised $25 billion. Rowley said the local government provides people with service at their doorsteps, such as local roads. He also praised Minister of Local Government Faris Al-Rawi for converting the government's vision for local government into law, but scoffed at the opposition for not supporting reform or property tax. The PM said, if you have no property, you have no property tax to pay. Listen to this.
So local government, they oppose. And oppose it on the grounds that you're going to have to pay property tax. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have no property, you have no property tax to pay. And all those who are talking about that, who have property abroad, they are the first in line to pay it out there. And of course, if you have property and you have difficulty for reasons that can be established in paying this tax, there is provision in the law for the Minister of Finance to give you an exemption.
Noted that the PNM proposed in the election was to challenge local government and so improve people's lives. Listen to this.
PNM is saying that there's a purpose for the election. Our purpose in the election coming up whenever the day is called is to bring about change in local government. That's what it's about. Win, lose or draw, our mission is to continue to improve the quality of life in this country by improving local government delivery. And an integral part of that is what is the revenue stream that local government will have. How can we strengthen it? How can we better it?
So now Trinidad and Tobago, wasn't that the same Prime Minister who led the PNM government? When the Privy Council said what they are doing was wrong, just a couple of weeks back. Wasn't the Privy Council laid down that judgment against them? When the Attorney General said they got a 1 or a win? Sad, you know. Sad. Call a good night.
Good night, Mr. Said.
Go right ahead, your life.
Track record. UNC, workers of this country, was very happy. 3 back page, one after the next. In 7 years, the PNM has been in power, and the workers of this country haven't got anything whatsoever. Another track record. Check the percentage that we were paying back pay in the UNC 5 years, and check what is the percentage that PNM offering us in this 10 years. Saieed Ali is 10 years, none of the workers of this country have ever received an increase. And this man has the guts and the audacity to stand up and ball, vote PNF, well, they will kick after.
Thank you, my friend. Rowley said a transition in local government need time, and the party had sought an extra year, although it was curbed by the Privy Council. Scoffing at opposition calls for election observers, he urged all to observe the licks the opposition would get on election day. Here's the Prime Minister.
And they're so upset about this dangerous thing that happened in the country that they want election observers to observe the local government election. I want Ole here in Malabar and the rest of the country to help them observe the licking that they will get on election day.
Caller, good night.
Good evening, Mr. Said. How are you going?
I'm okay. How are you?
Fine.
Thank you.
But not too fine listening to that man you just had on the television there just a little while ago.
Talk to me.
Said, people in this country really conscious about the things that is be listening to and the words that is be coming out from this gentleman mouth that you have on the television here speaking right now. I think his name is Rowley. Something has to be wrong with people in this country to be believing anything that man is saying to this population. He is telling the population here what? That he is going to improve the livelihood and the life of the people in Trinidad and Tobago through local government. He was the Prime Minister, is the Prime Minister for the last 8 years, controlling the Treasury with a budget of over $50-something million every year. Could the people of Trinidad and Tobago say their lives have been improved since he became the Prime Minister of this country? Could they say that how the healthcare system is better? Could they say that how the education system is better? Could they say that how the safety and the security of the citizens of this Trinidad and Tobago is better? Could the thousands and thousands of people who is unemployed and who is hustling to make a living in this country, could they say that their lives have been better? Could for the 8 years people say that how the roads that we have been driving on is better? The flooding that they experienced, has it become better? The carnage on the roadways, every single aspect of governance in this country under Rowley has been worsened since he became the Prime Minister of this country. And now coming to tell this population that here what? Where the revenue stream, what he's trying to tell people here what? We are going to pay for all the improvement that we want in this country through taxes. That is what he's telling the population. And people not understanding that. So he can come now and say, what, we improve the road. Why he didn't say that here what? Let you and I, every villager, come up with a substantial amount of money and fix their own roads. Fix the infrastructure in the area. Pay for garbage collection and everything. And it will work better off than what he is telling the people right now. Because let me tell you something. Is a portion of this population would be the ones that will be taxed through the housing tax that they want to implement, that will be trying to improve the people's lives in this country, and that would never happen. This man, population, don't believe nothing that he said. He promised that he would keep the population safe. He promised that people will be more secure in their homes and their environment, and he lied. He lied. Every single thing that came out from his mouth was a lie. And we make him the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And now we want to believe what he's saying today. Listen, Rowley, have a good night. Have a good night, Mr. Sai.
You too, my friend. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, bill to extend council's term passed. Opposition walks out of the house after this break.
Do you have a public concern you would like to highlight? You can email your pictures and videos to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com, and we will highlight your concerns on our show for Public Concerns Wednesday.
wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Real Talk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Real Talk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chabonas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
So Trinidad and Tobago, welcome back to the #1 current affairs program in our land. Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar and UNC MPs walked out of the House of Representatives yesterday after Speaker Bridget Annessa George repeatedly reminded Persad-Bissessar to continue her contribution to the amendment under debate and not rehearse arguments already made. Persad-Bissessar's exit occurred during her contribution to the debate on amendment made in the Senate to the bill to extend councillors' term and validate their action after December 2022. It was passed in the House last week when Persad-Bissessar called for the deletion of Clause 5 in the Senate. Attorney General Reginald Amo amended the clause but did not delete it. The bill was introduced after the May 18 Privy Council judgment when she claimed the government would have had an advance of copy of the judgment. Persad-Bissessar said it was surprising the AG did not explain why he did it. So Trinidad, that is another bacchanal for another day. But I just given you a little update on this. Hopefully before the week is over, we're gonna bring you more news on that. Minister of Finance Colin Mim would have stated that the government will return to Parliament to bring minor tweaking to the valuation of Land Amendment Bill 2023, which was passed in the Senate on Friday. Responding to the contribution by Opposition Senator Wade Mark, Imber stated that he could not see Mark's point, as there was a lot of misinformation and untruth in an aim to create political mischief. He said the argument about Mark's personal information and that of others being in the public domain to moot as the laws allow for the information to be shared. Listen to Mark.
I cannot see a single point made by Senator Mark that makes any sense. I'm sorry, I've about 3 pages here, but I can't find anything. But what I do find is a lot of hysteria, misinformation, bad information, untruths, scandal, hysteria, and so on. And what I think I need to correct is some political mischief that Senator Mark has put into the system. Because Senator Mark spent quite a bit of time screaming about privacy and that the Valuation Division will now have his personal information, whatever that is. Under the current law, the Valuation Division is empowered to access information from the Board of Inland Revenue by law and any other department of government that has information that the commissioner would require in order to prepare the valuation roll.
The government is also yet to finalize the estimated revenue from the collection of property tax. The minister added that the collection from residents or residential properties will begin this year, with collection of agriculture and industrial property tax will start next year. So the agriculture department and the industrial department, their tax would start next year. He said industrial tax are more difficult to tally. So there will be consultation with stakeholders, but he predicted that agricultural land tax would not be difficult as others. Listen to this.
We are not pursuing the valuation of industrial, commercial, agricultural at this time. Obviously, it will come in due course. There are many different reasons for this. Industrial will be a bit difficult because of the valuation of plant and machinery. It's not simple, okay? It's not simple. And I said before, we're trying to simplify things rather than complicate them. Commercial as well. Plant and machinery you will find in a commercial establishment. So there are some issues with respect to the valuation of plant and machinery that we need to resolve. And this will be resolved in discussion with stakeholders. So we're not rushing in like mad people to go and value industrial and residential. Agriculture, on the other hand, not so difficult because, you know, that is wide areas of open land and so on. I would say that we will get going with residential properties in 2023 and the other categories in 2024, perhaps towards the end of 2024.
So agricultural land will be taxed. Farmers, what do you have to say? I want to hear some of the farmers in Trinidad and Tobago tonight. Because you have just heard that your land will be taxed. Industrial for next year. Caller, good night.
Good night, Saieed.
Go right ahead.
The imitation vaccine vagrant. Let me apologize for giving you some wrong information last night. I think I mentioned that they found the Galil.
No, they didn't.
Right, so apologizing to you and all your listeners.
No problem.
Because that would have been a reverse of how the police and the national security.
Yes. They didn't found it as yet.
Nothing. No. This property tax, you know what the small man had to tell me? The Honorable Colin? I want to know, it has 14 corporations. And he hasn't put it in the public domain. How many money those individual corporations making for the tax? I want to know how much Diego Martin. I want to know how much Port of Spain and how it compared to Central, Siparia, Arima. You know that Cuba? Let us see. Because I have a funny feeling that all those opposition constituency, as they say, Peter paid for all and Paul paid for all. And that is why he's not giving us the information. And think about it going to tax next year the business and agriculture. That ain't happening at all. He has too much 1% involved in that. And once he has 1%, he will defer that until thy kingdom come. He wants to punish we in the opposition area. That is all the one. Because, for example, he wants to get 50 million in collection of tax. Tell him, don't pay Alwari and all the renters, and he get 50 million right there. So just not paying him for 1 year, he can ease up. I'm going to have a nice night.
Thank you, my friend. So farmers, there is nothing in place for agriculture. Nothing. If something happens to you, you have nothing to get concerned in agriculture and starting over. But your land is going to be taxed. You have a call? Your land is going to be taxed. Oh, now, correcting an earlier mistake, Imbert also noted that the lowest payment would be $486 a year and not $540. So listen to this.
I would like now to correct an error that I made. I overstated what the taxes would be in terms of the various categories. Senator Dylan Remy, was probably a little bit intimidated when she got up. And I did not make the correct statement with respect to how we deal with the 10% discount. So I now want to correct the record. Instead of the lowest category being $540 a year, I'm pleased to announce it will be $486 a year. It's less because the 10% comes after the annual rental value is calculated, and the tax is calculated on 90% of the annual rental value. So the figures I gave were based on rental value, but the tax is actually the rental value less 10%.
Trinidad and Tobago, we are waiting for a short commercial break. But I want to hear from the farmers of Trinidad and Tobago. We have a call. Caller, good night.
Good night, sir.
Go right ahead.
Now that the Prime Minister has called local election, are we aware that he has procrastinated for approximately 8 months, sir? The election that was supposed to call in December is called in August. You see the kind of ridiculousness? What about the money that was supposed to be allocated by the government from the consolidated fund? Now that they're talking about property tax to impoverish people, do you realize, sir, the property tax will be concentrated only on mostly on a certain ethnicity, because the bulk of their supporters, sir, are living in HBC house. Would HBC house qualified, would those tenants be qualified to pay property tax? And I think the answer is no. I think the answer is no, that these HBC people would not be paying property tax. And the bulk, like, what about those people in Laventille and John and all those places? Would they be paying tax, like in Lahokat and all these places? Would they be paying property tax? No. East Port-au-Prince, would they be paying property tax? No. So you see this thing is widely discriminated. This is why, the people need to come together and send a strong signal to this government that enough is enough, that we are not prepared, because look at I've seen on the news in Barrackpore, but it's not so you only Barrackpore, all over the country. If you happen to drive on the heliport road, sir, you will see, you have to decide which is the shallowest hole to go in. Nothing has been done. What is the money that has been allocated for these through the local government? Where has the money gone? What has the government been doing with it? You cut laptop, you cut school feeding program, you cut so much things. What it is you are doing with the money? This is what we want to know. Where is the money going? I don't know. I could only suspect that it went to build Bali's house. I don't know. Those are millions and billions of dollars. Why can't the government account? Why can't the people demand? We want to demand. Remember, we had community comfort patrols under the partnership government, where people used to feel safe. I don't know what arrangement, but government was paying private security, called it community patrol, in all these hotspot areas, and crime was a thing of the past. The government come, lo and behold, they scrap that. Where is our money going? That was paid for by taxpayers' dollars. Now, you scrap everything, and we don't know where the money is going. Where is the money? Why can't we demand? Why can't we demand answers for our money? And look at the way, look at the speaker, when pertinent questions are being asked by the opposition, she shuts it down. Look at the answer. What is very disturbing, a well-known media house has banned opposition MP, saying that he's making rude statement. What about our Prime Minister, sir? Look at the loose and uncouth quotes. Look at the disrespectful manner he speaks. Where is that? Why is that silent on that? The law must not be discriminatory. You must apply to all. Why can't they put him to as well from all the airwaves? You see, this is the nonsense that has been taking place in our country. But the people must stand up and demand better. The people must, you know how much time the man stand up and say, I am the Prime Minister. Have you ever heard, Sir Saieed, any other Prime Minister so much time, quote, I am the Prime Minister, I am the Prime Minister? You see, this kind of nonsense is going on. And all those who are cheering and clapping when he's talking this kind of nonsense, there's something called retribution. God is very, very much alive. Thanks a lot, sir.
about those. We are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back from this break, we're going to hear the PM saying, stop revolving doors of criminals who get bail after this.
Do you have a public concern you would like to highlight? You can email your pictures and videos to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com, and we will highlight your concerns on our show for Public Concerns Wednesday.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
So welcome back, viewers. Remember, it's 4% at Real Talk. On a fixed deposit, you're not getting that nowhere. No, viewers. Now that you'll have to pay property tax at the end of every month or every year, you're going to need extra cash. You're going to need extra cash. So do you think at 1% on a fixed deposit that you're getting in other financial institution, you think that is going to help you? You already have your savings set aside for rainy days that you're not going to touch. So that 1% you get in that financial institutions in Trinidad and Tobago, you think that $1,000 and $100,000 is going to help you at the end of the year? No, it's not. You need more money. You need more money. Hence the reason why Real Talk is offering you 4% on fixed deposit per year. Remember that, eh? 4% on fixed deposit per year. Where else you getting that? Nowhere. Thus far, we are the leaders on fixed deposits in Trinidad and Tobago. Match that with your bank and then talk to Saieed. So as we continue, call a good night.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Saieed.
Go right ahead, you're live on Real Talk, my friend.
Two fast things, Mr. Saieed. Mr. Saieed, I am not hearing the president of this country saying anything about this misbehavior in Parliament.
She won't say anything.
Lying on all sorts of things. That's one thing. I am asking our president to have a say in this property tax issue. Another thing is, I have now heard the Prime Minister saying on your show that if you don't have a property, you have no tax to pay. You know what you mean by that, Mr. Saieed? Mr. Saieed, are you familiar with the area they call Maloney Gardens?
Mm-hmm.
Maloney Gardens have 21 buildings. Each building has 61 apartments. It has 200 single units and it has about 150 wafters. How the taxes running for there? And this is PNM stronghold. So who pays taxes for who?
Correct.
You tell me, Mr. Saieed, why the president has nothing to say about this? This is very unfair to the citizens of this country, and we're not going to sit down and take this, Mr. Saieed. We're not going to sit down and take this, When Trinidadians back against the wall, they just operate to the best. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my friend. I tell you, all go have a backlash, all I feel is joke. Agricultural land will be taxed next year. What the farmers have to say now? The government has no provision for farmers, but they're going to tax agricultural land. We have a call. Call a good night.
Good night, Mr. Saieed. Great program as usual.
Thank you.
Mr. Saieed, from what I saw, last week you had on your screen there, the property tax is going to bring in $198 million.
Correct.
When you look at money they spend on legal fees and giving their lawyer friends and family money, one person alone
collected $62 million in legal fees.
Correct.
So, right-thinking citizens of this country, come on, wake up. If they reduce the bubble and corruption in this legal fees to the lawyers and so on, they will collect about 5 times the amount of money, that they expect to collect from the group, one particular group of people in this country, property tax. Where the bright lawyers in this country, lawyers, attorneys, we have bright lawyers. Where you all are? Why we not hearing you all? Form a committee, because I personally feel if you're implementing a law, this law must affect every citizen in the country.
Correct.
It must not exempt like Imbut and the PNM supporters who are living in HDC homes. It's across the board. This is how I feel. Attorneys, where you all are, come on with this property tax must not see the light in this country. This wicked government advantaging the citizens in this country too much, and that new president for the United Nations, still, you live in this country, you love this country. Your job, your first agenda is to take this notorious government before an international court. Mr. Said, thank you. You keep up the great work. God bless you and real talk.
Thank you, my friend. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley have stated that improved community watch and more police patrols are being used to safeguard against home invasion. But to help combat gangs, Parliamentarians must collaborate to stop the revolving door arrangement that allows criminals to return to work as soon after they get bail. The PM confirmed that 6 persons were arrested for home invasion thus far. As long as the TTPS gets public support, the focus on using the available information gathering technology to get better results. Listen to this.
The Deputy Speaker, home invasion is one of the classic crimes of opportunity, and the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service relies on its information gathering and its focus on persons who have chosen crime as a way of life and who may seek such opportunities. Only recently, Mr. Deputy Speaker, among its other successes, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has arrested 6 persons and charged them with respect to home invasions within the past few days. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is actively working on addressing the criminal enterprises on home invasion and other aspects of criminal conduct, and as long as they get the support of the public and that they focus on using the information gathering technology that's available, we expect to get more and better results.
Allocations to TTPS are not only home invasions, and the government is doing the best they can. And if more is needed, those requirements will be met in the budget. I'll listen to all the PM.
Honorable Prime Minister, are you satisfied that sufficient resources have been allocated to treat with the scourge of home invasions?
Mr. Deputy Speaker, we are never going to have all the resources that we think we need. We make allocations to the police service to cover a plethora of concerns, not just home invasion. And insofar as resources are being made available, I am not going to tell you yes or no, because if I tell you yes, you'll come and say, well, if I tell you no, you will say, well, provide more. I'm saying we are doing the best we can with the affordable allocation. And if more is required for a specific need, then those requirements will be met within the context of the adjustment of budgets. But in the meantime, we want to make sure that the allocations as have been made are put to best use. And I think that's what the police is doing.
Trinidad and Tobago, the PM also stated that the TTPS has been having some success, but not enough to overcome the growth of criminal and their choices. The PM one more time.
The gangs in Trinidad and Tobago are growing largely on the basis of the opportunities that are provided to some people who believe that crime pays. And what we have been seeing is an upsurge in criminal activity. And if I sat here this afternoon or stand here this afternoon and give you a list of all the successes that the police would have had, you would be surprised, because the impression is given that nothing is being done. But the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has been having some significant success, not sufficient to overcome the growth in criminal choices. But, Mr. Deputy Speaker, one thing that has to be taken into account as we look at a question like this is the revolving door arrangement that the police is facing.
Before we go on this break, I would like to say, or to send out a happy 75th birthday to Narayan Mahadev from Spring Village. Narayan Mahadev, who is celebrating his 75th birthday today, from Real Talk Group of Companies and your family, we want to wish you a happy birthday. May God give you the health and strength that you need to go through another 75. So viewers, we are waiting for a short commercial break, but when we come back from that break, here hands, COP making progress, curbing home invasion. After this.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Real Talk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Real Talk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Caroni Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Do you have a public concern you would like to highlight? You can email your pictures and videos to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com, and we will highlight your concerns on our show for Public Concerns Wednesday.
Trinidad and Tobago Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines have stated that the TTPS have started to push back on home invasion, nabbing culprits immediately, and the detection rate is improving. This is Hines, the same Hines who said his job is not to make Trinidad and Tobago safe. This is the same Hines who's saying this, all right? Now, on the detection rate against violent offenders following the TTPS plan, Hines gave an example using home invasion. Hines stated that the police have been quite successful in dealing with home invasion, and in each of the 6 cases, police have been able to push back, and he was happy about that. Listen to this.
In respect of home invasions, a very violent and very traumatic experience for those who have had to live with it, and even for those who didn't, observing. The police have been quite successful in dealing with them. The police are reporting that intelligence-driven activities have led them to persons involved. And the senator must have noticed that in at least the last 6 or 7 events of home invasions, the police have on every single occasion been able to intercept them coming away from the scene of the crime, engaging them. In some cases, it led to firefights, and unfortunately persons died. But in every single case, the police have been able to make progress, and we have noticed that the police are, like they did with kidnapping in the 2000s, in 2005 to 7, they are beginning to push back on the home invasions, and I'm happy about that. If
this man living in Trinidad, I'm genuinely asking tonight, is Fitzgerald Hines, a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago? Is he living in Trinidad? I want to know. Hola, good night.
It's Saeed.
Go right ahead, you're live.
Right, I'm calling from Tunapuna.
Welcome to Tunapuna.
Right. But you know, strange enough, I saw in the Parliamentary, Marvin Gonzalez is the acting Minister of National Security. And when the question was posed to him about the missing barrel gun, he said, well, the matter is under investigation, and when they get the report and whatnot. So the opposition asked him, how soon would that report be? He said, well, I cannot give you a timeline on that and what have you. You know, just to show you, you, Fitzgerald Hines, you put a man who is responsible for public utilities, who's supposed to deliver water and that sort of thing, and can't do that, but you put he to act as National Security Minister. Saeed, let me get to my main point now, my brother. And I want you to hear me carefully, my brother. This property tax, it has some racial connotations in this property tax, you know, Saeed.
Talk to me.
I'm going to explain it to you. Initially, when they said that they're going to attack residential areas, Rowley and they say in the early o'clock, that the people who have properties, who renting it out and whatnot, they have plenty properties rented out and things, and they don't want to pay property tax. You know who we're referring to, Saeed? The majority of people who have properties rented is East Indian people.
Multi-story dwelling apartments.
Right? In the East Indian people, no residential something. The majority of people who is renting is of African descent. When you raise property tax, don't you think that these people are going to not raise their rent side? So you see the double whammy going to create. But what I want to explain to you, Saeed, Pete Rowley have been lying to the population because he said that, in other words, we know of the government and we now going to implement new new restructuring of local government and whatnot and whatnot. So that when you this now, and you remember he said, initially this is a restructure so that when the taxes that we collect and whatnot is to build roads and trains and whatnot. Now you hear what they're coming now? It is not that, you know, it is a revenue stream.
Correct.
So therefore they're not going to take any money from government, from the taxes that they thing and whatnot, or other revenues, to spend on these things. Because why? They're going to tax your tails in order for you to get roads and whatnot and what have you. Besides here, the most important thing. Just recently in India, there was pressure put on the agriculture, on the farmers in India, and they come out by the millions. I don't know if you remember that. And they come out with the tractors and all of that, block up the roads and whatnot. But massive millions of people. I want the gardeners and them in this country to do the same. They hope they're going to tax agricultural land. Because here I'm going to tell you that side. The government not spending money into agriculture, access road, proper drainage, and all these things. So therefore resulting in flooding, and they're losing their crop, they're getting no compensation. And what have you, Saeed? You hear me, friend?
Correct, I mean.
Right. And then again, when the price of tomatoes and all the things, bacon and body and all these things went up sky high, 2 and 3 times the price and whatnot, people was crying out and saying that the gardeners and them overdoing it.
Yes.
You understand? But here what I am calling, and I'm saying it straight side, all the other races, remember agriculture is 80% or more. East Indian people do agriculture. All they have to rally and support these farmers and them of East Indian, not only in the East Indian, but the farmers in general. Because here why? When they cannot produce, or the little that they produce, and they have to sell it at a high price, it's you self have to pay for it. Because here why? They are feeding the nation, something the government has failed to do, and they're not going to support the farmers and them. Because I want to tell you something, my brother. In 1995, there was a program on a radio station with Hansley Ajuda. Since 1995, that is 28 years ago, I was listening to that program. Rowley was the Minister of Agriculture under the Patrick Manning regime. And he was live on the studio in the radio station with Hansley Ajuda. And people were calling in and whatnot and things to ask him about what you doing for the people in terms of agriculture and whatnot. And you know what Said, God hear me if I lie, I drop down, and dead right now was a hole in the suit. He said, "Will you telling me about agriculture? I see all you're going in the garden with Royal Saloon." This is what he said. A woman from Digo Martin called and tell him, "You're damn fast and out of place, Dr. Rowley, because here why? If we could afford to walk in the garden and buy a Royal Saloon and go in the garden, that would be damn business, because here why? We couldn't get no job in the government service. It was reserved for a special type of people." You understand what I'm saying, Said?
Yes.
So I am calling on the people, the population, my African brothers and all the other races, who just patronize the market and buy the produce from these people and them. All they have to come out and support them. But
Correct.
again, I'm calling out the farmers, right, to come outside and join any form of protest. Just like you see workers losing their work at Caridoc and the Board of Inland Revenue and Customs and all of them. Every damn body has to find a tail outside the side. Don't just leave it on a few and feel the thing. And you see this local election, everybody has to come out and vote. This is a signal that you're sending to the government. Because if you don't do it, it will mean that you only accept what they're saying and the government go beat it. You see what we tell you earlier? Property tax. That's everything coming down like electricity rate, water rate, you name it, Said, cable and all of these things raising the rates and whatnot. So you feel it will be easy coming down the road? Said, my brother, have a blessed night.
Thank you, my friend. The viewers, staying on Hines. Question on how many gangs have been dismantled via the 15-point plan. Hines said anti-gang laws being used was not as robust as it ought to be. Since the government didn't get UNC support to amend the bail restriction law, or the bail restriction law, he added that the TTPS had indicated there is a revolving door with people coming before courts, getting bail, and returning to commit more crimes. Listen to this.
To the senator is that the police, fully aware, as we all are, ought to be, that there are in fact gangs operating in Trinidad and Tobago, and that the anti-gang law which we now use to restrain and to repress them is not as stringent and muscular, robust as it ought to be. And it is the way it is because we did not get the support of the UNC in this parliament to amend alongside it the bail restrictions. The police have been indicating that it is a revolving door with people who commit offenses and get bail and come out to get money, to get lawyer, to commit more crimes, to carry on. So without those, the police are a little less effective. But
you see all the fancy talk and the fancy suit in Parliament, and then you want to talk about TTPS. Hines, it's helping. It's not helping these citizens. These citizens want solution to problem. From who? From TTPS. Who governs TTPS? Ministry of National Security. Come down on the commissioner. Let the commissioner come down on the officers and deal with it. Just imagine, you guys know how many gang members are in a gang in Trinidad and you can't do nothing about it. You can't. I'm surprised gangs have started to extort money from all you. I'm surprised. And again, they have something they call coward tax. They have something they call coward tax. You know who paid from who I paid? Me? Come wrong me, you will. Let me tell you something, you will walk up a light pole backward and jump from it. Somebody good son fall off a light pole. Let me tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. You see when they made that attempt behind my son? You know what I left in Trinidad and Tobago? I left an example. Wrong my son again, and I will not hesitate to get your good son blind again. You feel I care about them? No. business people, and there's something they call coward tax that TDPS have been talking about, right? Let me tell you something. Businessmen in Trinidad and Tobago and businesswomen, we're not supposed to be paying coward tax to no damn bandits. I don't care who the hell you are. Hey, keep in mind, TGPS license to kill. How would an inspector feel to know a bandit break up into his house and interfere with his wife and daughter? How would the commissioner of police feel if a bandit break into her house and interfere with her family? How she would feel? You go want to gun them down. Remember when Imbertson lost his phone? What happened? All the police in Trinidad and Tobago end up where? Where they found out the phones on my lap until? Somewhere more side. 7,000 police officers went behind to look for a damn phone. All the officers on red alert in Trinidad. Normal citizen lost their phone, they can't even find it. Government minister lost the phone. Next day they ransacking Trinidad for a bloody hell phone. A damn phone they could have buy. Hines want to come up in Parliament now on the media to talk what cha-cha. Cow dung, donkey dung, dog dung. They want to come up and talk. And you expect Saieed to buy that? No. Saieed is in security and intelligence. So I know TTPS license to kill. Vex loss, you know. Because when bandits come into all your house, you think the bandit business you had dal and rice cooking? You think the bandit business of what you have? No, they're coming to take. And if you don't have it, they're beating you for not having. You're taking 10 years to pay for your car, and they're going with it like that. TTPS are licensed to kill. Read between the lines, Trinidad and Tobago. Side you inciting violence? Me? All I'm saying is TTPS are licensed to kill. That's all I'm saying. Well, good night. Tell you something. Trinidad and Tobago have too much of gangs. Too much gangs in Trinidad and Tobago. You see the Ministry of National Security, the Attorney General, Faris could I tell you how much gang it have and how much members of the gang it have. And they couldn't do nothing about it. They know how much Venezuelan coming in on the Southwestern Peninsula, what boat, who is the owner, who is the taxi driver, and who is the homeowner. Viewers, you are viewing Real Talk with Saieed Ali. There's a rerun of this program tomorrow from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And by the grace of God, we'll be right back here on another night for another live broadcast. Until we meet again, remember, it's 4% on fixed deposit at Real Talk. At the end of the day, you will get money to pay your property tax. So until we meet again, good night.